The global debate about AI is characterized by tensions between technological advancement, regulatory fragmentation, and competing geopolitical and corporate interests. The technology and its adoption is moving at a breathtaking pace and is posing enormous challenges for policy and business leaders and society as a whole. The Hong Kong Graduate School of Business has recently released its AI white paper, China and the Global AI Race, which, among other key issues, explores the impact artificial intelligence is having on globalization and the role that China may play as it moves forward. To discuss the white paper and its findings, I'm joined now by Dr. Xiang, the founding dean and Dean's Distinguished Chair, Professor of China Business and Globalization at CKGSB. Dean Xiang, great to see you again. We've spoken many times in the past about globalization. It's an area where you're a specialist, you're an expert, you speak all the time about this globally. What impact is AI having on globalization?
Advance of AI cannot be stopped. I think the right approach or attitude will be let's try to work together to embrace this transformation. Try our best, make sure it can do a lot of global collective good. So
Mm,
that's my basic approach to this
mm,
issue. In terms of globalization, the globalization has done so much good for the global community. With this arrival of AI era, I can see the huge benefits we can derive from AI transformation. I see the huge possibility presented by AI in terms of new way of learning. And this with arrive AI, I think democratization of information to each everyone around the globe with the information insights available. I think this is the possibilities, the innovations, the ingenuity unleashed by AI will be unimaginable. I think we cannot underestimate the power we derive from this AI transformation. Of
What role
course,
can China play in this, though? How do you see
well,
China playing a role, especially as you're so positive in your outlook about the good that AI can bring?
according to many of the statistics, the Chinese making about 50% a top scientist in AI field. If you look at top company in the US ones, I think one third or half of them are Chinese by ethics, by nationality. And also China has the largest body of STEM talents. And China is unrivaled in manufacturing might. And
Mm,
China also leading in digital transformation, including AI-driven transformation. So collectively, with the rise of this new, like a deep seek type of companies,
mm,
with the dominance of TikTok,
yeah.
Temu, Xiang in the U.S. market. So I'm immensely optimistic about the rise of the future generation of AI-driven company from China and beyond.
You're quoted in the report as saying that if AI is to truly benefit humanity, it must be developed with shared responsibility and global inclusion. Now, at the moment, in the current climate, it looks anything but that. So, what role can China play in that shared responsibility and encouraging collaboration?
For the past 15 years or so, China and the US collectively contribute about 58, 60% economic growth. So that's the plus side. The downside for both China and the United States, there's two countries having the more serious inequalities.
Mm,
According to studies by many experts, this AI transformation can potentially deepen the disparities
mm,
among nations, both South and North, and also might worsen the income was inequality
mm.
in China and the United States. So that's the reason why I see the fundamental change to come in terms of social security program, which must play more proactive role for addressing this issue. At individual level, we need to be more having more compassion and empathy at the individual level. So that's what I see. Globally, we need a better governance to make sure this inequality, disparity among nations will not become a serious global instability issue.
I was very interested in one of the findings of the report that future CEOs must become AI architects, not just adopters, but integrators of AI in operations and in strategy. How can that happen? It's moving so quickly.
To some extent, it's similar to the rise of internet, and we treat internet as a tool, as an instrument. And then, but later on, you find this will be essential to each everything we do. That will be the case for this AI or AI-driven transformation. I think each every one of the CEO must become a chief architect, okay, in terms of driving AI-driven transformations.
CKGSB does a lot of training with executives, of course. So are you saying basically that leaders will need to be AI literate? They'll have to be agile and technically adept, and they'll also, I guess, have to have an ethical vision. They'll have to redesign business models around AI in a very dramatic and material way.
Yes, we have been working with some of the very top engineering school around the globe to make sure the leaders really cutting edge with the changes driven by AI. We work with Stanford Engineering, Columbia Engineering, Berkeley Engineering. We also work with John Hopkins in terms of AI-driven transformation in the whole healthcare sector, biotech with UC San Diego. But we're not neglecting the global South. For example, we have a series for emerging market, like driven by scaling and innovations. So this will be covering Latin America, Africa, ASEAN countries, maybe some of the country in the Middle East. So this is something we have been doing. In 2005, I brought humanities, history, religion, philosophy, to the curriculum of degree and non-degree program. A key consideration of that is the emphasis on compassion, empathy, not winners take all. And this become more important in an AI era. I think this you see the rise of gigantic company like NVIDIA. We're going to see more companies like that to come. I call them groundbreaking company, groundbreaking innovation companies. We have a few of them from the United States. And only one outside of the US falls into that category is this TikTok. At least we got one from China. We would like to see more from Europe, Japan. I believe in the future, the scale of those companies could be bigger than the GDP of a continent. We know the NVIDIA capitalization bigger than GDP of UK already. I
Yes.
see the more concentration of power. So that's the reason why I see the major change at the global level, national level, corporate level, and the individual level for this more emphasis on social and global responsibilities become more important in this new era.
I mean, there's such a concentration of power
Yes.
in companies and in some cases in governments. How do you encourage them to put at the forefront of the debate ethical issues, inclusive issues? And importantly, what role can China take, or do you see China taking in that?
I think the leaders should be much broader in scope, in responsibilities. Not only you doing well for your shareholders, but also you have to think about the role you can play to address the issue of income wealth inequality, diminishing social mobility, and the sustainability. Three elements to the best you can. I mean, this not only the architect for AI, but you're the architect for social global responsibilities as well. For the future, the more
Mm.
emphasis on social purpose and global responsibility and a long-term perspective will be in our curriculum. Every kind of program we have.
At the moment, US-China tensions remain high. Tech is at the forefront of that. I mean, there are trade tensions and the like, but tech very much at the heart of those geopolitical tensions. Uh, how can, in that environment, one enable a more constructive, collaborative partnership on artificial intelligence?
China, US really cutting edge in AI-driven transformations. I think we need a collective effort in governance. Governance cannot be US-centric or China-centric. It's a global governance issue. The coordination must be there. But there will be competition. Competition is good. When you have a more competition, you have more innovations. So I see that positively. I do see a strong linkage between China and the United States. Just look at the talents we have. As I mentioned, 50% of top scientists in AI are Chinese. They're working for Chinese company, they're working for American companies. So that linkage cannot be stopped. So it will be there. So I'm still positive there will be competition, but I think there will be collaboration as well in governance in many other areas as well.
We need global dialogue, do we not, on
Yes,
this?
we
At the
do.
moment, most dialogue is regional, country specific.
Yeah, I think especially between China and United States, I think if, according to some estimate, like if the AI-driven transformation can be considered among the very existential threat to humanity, among this climate change, nuclear conflict, it's imperative for China, US to work together, making sure the benefits we derive from AI will be materialized and the threat will be mitigated or neutralized. I think China and United States have unshakable responsibility in that regard.
Thank you very much. And thanks very much for the white paper, China and the Global AI Race. Fascinating read, an extraordinarily important issue for business leaders, for policymakers, and for society as a whole. So we'll be watching this very closely. Dean Zhang, thank you very much.